Yeah, welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back to Ironclad RC. We got the V2, baby. We got the V2 Sonicwake. This boat's been updated and upgraded, okay? It's got all new hardware on the back of the boat. Polycarbonate hull, okay? New electronics, SPEKTRUM firmware, Marine ESC 120, okay? That's new technology. All right, we got a 4068 big block in the boat. Today we're going to be going through the boat, make sure everything's ironclad. We're going to tighten up all the screws for it before I run. All right, we're going to grease the shaft. I'll show you guys how to do that. Let's get to it. Big B here with Ironclad RC. So let's get to it, boys. Let's get to it, all right? First off, we need to get two 10mm spanners, okay, and loosen up the collet, okay? We're going to grease the shaft up first. I'll show you guys how to do that, and then we'll kind of go through the boat once we're done with the grease, okay? Got the collet loosened up. We can pull our shaft out. This is a bushing right here, okay? The bushing just keeps grease on the shaft, basically. What I do is I use some marine grease, DYNIMITE marine grease. I have a link in the description, and I'll fill the stuffing tube up with grease. You know, I just kind of shoot it in there with the syringe, and then I'll put my bushing in first, make sure it's seated all the way into the strut. All right, and what I do is I like to take a card and put this card over the collet, in between the collet and the stuffing tube, just like so. All right, that's going to help keep grease in the drive line, okay? And I just kind of move my shaft in and out, getting grease, filling up those grease dams in the bushing with grease, okay? Once I feel like I got it pretty well greased, I'll pull my card out. All right, I'll take that extra grease that come out on the card, and I put it on my shaft. A little bit of it on my shaft. All right, boom, and I'll spin it. I'll spin it into the strut. All right, that when you spin it, it seems like it gets grease all in the stuffing tube, all in the, you know, it gets more grease in the drive line, basically. All right. So now all we gotta do is tighten up our collet and clean up our mess. This .187 cable don't have any it shouldn't constrict like a .130 or .150 4mm cable. So you don't need a big gap back here. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you got a Teflon washer there that will absorb some of the twist. Okay, so I usually leave maybe a millimeter. Okay, it's a .187 cable. We need to tighten up that drive dog. All right, it feels like it's loose. Tighten it up snug. It don't need to be gorilla tight. Trust me, your collet will last longer. All right, we'll clean up that little bit of excess grease there so it don't make a big mess in the boat. All right, done. D-U-N. All right, done. So next you want to check make sure your cable and motor is aligned, okay? If it's not, mine's aligned perfect. If it's not aligned, you'll see a gap on one side of the cable or the other. What you need to do is take this retainer off right here, okay, and shim up the stuffing tube. You can shim it to the left. What I usually do is put like a little piece of heat shrink on one side to actually push the stuffing tube over, up, down, etc. All right, so mine's aligned. Mine was aligned perfect. You guys can see that. It's perfect, okay? But that's how you shim it up if you have a misalignment, not only on this boat, on any boat with this style stuffing tube retainer, okay? All right, so I ran this boat yesterday, and my prop is now loose, okay? So I know it wasn't the two nuts. So my drive dog possibly needs some Loctite on it. So I'm going to remove the nuts here, pull the propeller, and Loctite my drive dog, the little grub screw there. All right, the nuts are 5/16, just so you know. Yeah, so it was loose. My grub screw wasn't tight. Okay, so we're going to loosen up this grub screw real quick and put some blue Loctite on it. All right, When you're putting your drive dog back on, you see that little flat spot right there? Alright, I've got a wrench on my cable so it don't move. Make sure you get your drive dog set on the flat spot. Okay, like so. Push it forward. Make sure it's on that flat spot. Go ahead and get this grub screw all the way out so we can put some Loctite on it. A lot of Loctite. Alright, as I'm tightening it up, I just kind of put a spanner. I put a spanner on my cable, on the collet here. And as I tighten it up, I'll kind of go back and forth with the drive dog on that flat spot, finding the flat spot, working it in there so it's ironclad, so it's not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So make sure it's tight, okay? And that's done. Alright, now we'll reinstall the propeller. Make sure the propeller is sitting on the drive dog correctly. And reinstall the nuts. Done. Alright, so now let's just check everything on the transom. Just going to go through, make sure all my trim tab screws are tight. Just tighten these guys here up. Just kind of give it a little turn. Make sure they're freaking on the boat perfect. And everything seems like it is tight from the factory. Okay. Oh yeah, everything's tight. I'm just doing like literally like a little eighth of a turn on everything. That's good to see. That's good to see. That's good to see. Yeah, everything's tight. Now you want to make sure your trim tab adjustment nut and screw is tight, and your turn fin. Make sure your turn fins are tight so they're not moving around on you. Don't really need no Loctite on those. You can if you want. That one was tight. I couldn't even turn it. This one right here is tight. Can't turn that one. Make sure the rudder's tight here. Okay, just kind of give it a little zets. Okay, not like German tight, not good and tight, but it's supposed to kick up. You know what I'm saying? So you want to leave it kind of loose. Just make sure it's going to kick up on you. Another good thing to check before you go out, make sure these holes right here are not too small for the tubes. Okay, make sure you got flow. Maybe even take this guy here off, blow through it, make sure you got nice flow. Also, check the pickups on your rudder. Okay, check these pickups, make sure there's nothing blocking the pickups pre-run. The motor coupler's tight. Make sure those screws are tight. They felt good. Don't want to strip them out. Okay, the servo looks like it's ironclad. Okay, that's tight. Thing was ironclad. That's how you grease your shaft. I just left everything the way it was. Just make sure everything was tight on the boat. Make sure there's no kinks in your cooling lines. Okay, make sure the collet's tight. Maybe need to put a little spring on that guy there so it don't kink off on us. Make sure all your wires are covered. Okay, nothing's going to be touching there. Servo, make sure the grub screw is tight there. Oh, that's cool to see. The grub screws on the top of it instead of the side makes it easy to get it out the boat. Okay. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it, man. Yeah. So I'll put a link in the description for the marine grease. I'll put a link in the description for the hatch tape. Not that you really need it with this boat, but you know, if you're doing like high speed runs, it comes in handy. All right, I'll put a link in the description for the SPEKTRUM Smart 5050C pack, SPEKTRUM Smart 100C packs as well. I'll drop a link in the description for an upgraded remote for this boat. In a future video, we're gonna bind this up with the boat so we can use the SPEKTRUM Smart telemetry. Okay, that's going to be cool to see. It's going to give us RPMs, voltage, speed, temperature, everything. That's freaking awesome, you guys. Yeah, man, yeah. So hopefully this helped you guys get your new boat on the water, man. This thing's a freaking blast on the water. I've already took it out for my maiden. I ain't even gonna lie. She 44 miles an hour with it, and I was just doing ovals really. 6S, okay? She was a beast. She handled like excellent, you guys. It was like holding down in the corners, okay? It held the corners like you wouldn't even freaking believe, man. The weight in this boat, they nailed it, boys. They nailed it. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Big B with Ironclad RC, channel where we tinker, test, and tune everything RC. We'll see you next time, guys.